Yes, guys, welcome back to another episode of LBINS. Hopefully you guys are all doing well. Please make sure you drop a like on the stream. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you subscribe to Nobbins. Link in the description. And big up to Saeed for the redirection. We just had a great show there on Saeed TV, man. So, yeah, big up to Saeed for the redirection. Let's get some yeses in the chat. Let's see who we've got in the building. Big up to Itchy Goat, Sam Martin, Ewan, Tyrese, Samir, Rodri's here. Big up to Godric, Nax. Big up to you, Bray. Big up to Mank Ninja. Big up for the donation as well before, bro. Big up to Section RGS, Ray, Jared say, CJ say, Subrich, Narrymen. Big up to Leaf Selman. Good to see you guys. Hopefully you're all doing well. Just a reminder as well that the Lee reaction video went out on the second channel, More LB. So make sure you have subscribed to More. But a couple of people have messaged me saying, "Where's the freaking Lee reaction video?" Well, it's on More LB. But we are here. It is another episode of LBINS, Nobbins. Good morning,
Hello.
sir. Or good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I think my team is back.
No
way. I think I've got my Manchester City team back, bro. I think.
What?
I don't know. What are you thinking?
It could be a thing. I tell you what, it's scary, but not for us. The rest of the league. Oh, I'd be scared. De Bruyne assist, Doku goal.
I know, mate. Yesterday, I was actually buzzing doing a watch along, bro, and I was begging it so hard, saying, "Get Kevin De Bruyne on the pitch, get Kevin De Bruyne." And there was obviously more sensible people in the chat saying, "No LB. Why are you putting him on against Huddersfield? Because Huddersfield come with aggression as well." So, but I was like, "Man, just get him on the pitch, man. Just get him on the pitch." And listen, I think it was the right thing to do. We got some decent minutes yesterday, Kevin De Bruyne. Obviously, we've got a tough game coming up next weekend against Newcastle. I want to speak on Foden, but first of all, give me your thoughts on Kevin De Bruyne. Sort of your thoughts about the rest of the season, how impactful he's going to be, and maybe your sort of thoughts on him yesterday, because I thought he'd come on. I thought it was class, mate. I'm not really any surprise. I know it was Huddersfield, but I just thought he just looked mint.
Yeah, obviously, it's Huddersfield. They're not a very good championship team, so you got to take it with a bit of a pinch of salt. However, he does look class, doesn't he? He doesn't really look like off it at all. It looks back to his old self, really, from like a technical standpoint, definitely. And look, I was wincing every single time he made a sprint, just because I was like nervous that it's like hamstring was going to snap. But the medical staff have obviously cleared him, so hopefully that's all okay. And yeah, it's massive that he's back. Like, think about how Liverpool would do without, Salah or Van Dijk for half the season, how any team in the world would do without their best player for over half a season. They're going to struggle. And, in terms of the league table, I don't even think City have really struggled overall. I know there was like some bad patches, but really it's sort of like in relative terms, City haven't struggled, to the point where you're like, we're well off it and we're like fifth or sixth in the table and we're doing rubbish. Like, we're pretty close to top of the table without our best player, and now he's coming back. Yeah, it's massive, and we've got Doku coming. It's not just KDB, it's also Doku coming back, and it's also Haaland coming back, and I think John Stones is coming back soon as well. But yeah, he was brilliant. And there was always going to be, a question mark of like, is that injury going to affect him? Because, big injuries do sometimes affect certain players. You think of like Michael Owen, where he got his massive ACL and hamstring issues. He was just never the same player. I know it's early days, but De Bruyne doesn't really seem like he's even had an injury. That rest seems to have done him good. And we've hopefully got a fully rested, fully fit De Bruyne for the title running.
Well, yeah, no, I completely agree. Here's my sort of viewpoint on it, right? And it's kind of basic, but here's how I see it going. I feel like he's either going to come back and he's going to be evil, yeah, because he's had this rest period. Because Kevin De Bruyne's not really had that much rest over the last years, because we've spammed him out. We probably spammed him out too much, to be honest with you, if we're being honest. But he's been that good for us, and we've been that important that we've had to. And he's had basically now 6 months off, 7 months off. He's been. If you think about it, he's not really kicked a ball properly since May. Because obviously he got injured in the final, then got injured on match day 1 against Burnley. He's not really kicked a ball since May. He's had all this time off. We've seen him fly around the world, going on to all these events. He's speaking about the fact he's had all this family time. He's chilled out. He's calm, and he's come back. He's had surgery as well. City have definitely. This is another reason why I wasn't bothered about putting him on yesterday, is because 100% City have already delayed his return. People are like, no, give him an extra week. Don't bring him back yesterday. Bring him and give him an extra week. Well, City have already done that, because he probably could have come back. I think he could have come back like mid-November, because they were the initial rumours. And if you remember, Pep Guardiola came out in a press conference and said Kevin De Bruyne's going to be back sooner than anticipated. Yeah. And then it suddenly, randomly, it got pushed back to the original January. So I think what's happened, I think he come back and he was like, right, I'm ready to go. And then the club, the doctors, the player, maybe the manager have come together and said, right, hang on a minute, you are back, but why don't we just give you an extra couple of weeks and then bring you back at the original time of January? I think that's what's happened. And come on yesterday, and he just looked mega, man. Like straight away, the getting himself on the ball, the way he moved around the pitch, his ball in the box for Doku. Great finish by Doku, by the way. And yeah, I just think, if we can keep him fit to the end of the season, I genuinely think we win this league, man. Like, I just think he's that good. I think he's probably underrated in this country, to be honest with you. I think he's probably the best midfielder this country's seen, in my opinion, in
easily
Premier League. And he's not been given a captain's armband. Obviously, that's gone to Walker. But listen, the pressure's not on him for the captaincy. He just can come out there and just play ball. And yesterday was a good little 30-minute cameo. Great stuff.
Yeah, it's exactly what we want to see. It seemed to be strong. We've talked about it. Seemed to be refreshed, up for it. He's got a lovely new trim, and it'll be just interesting to see what sort of role he has this season in terms of like what will his position be. Shameless plug on my channel. There will be a video coming out. Can Foden and De Bruyne work together in midfield? So the question will be, how can that happen? If it can happen, in what games would it happen? And it was just interesting to see, like, maybe we saw like some foreshadowing of like what that role / position would be. Like, he was when De Bruyne came on, he went into a very free, open role. Like sometimes he was just like drifting out to the right wing. He just seemed to be going wherever he wanted to be. So maybe we'll be using him more like that, like a Messi, where he just plays wherever he wants, basically. So maybe it'll be a similar thing to like ease that sort of like burden away from him as he's getting older, and especially coming off the back of this big injury.
Yeah, facts, absolutely. Yeah, and as you said, Doku's back. I thought he looked electric yesterday. This is the thing. He's come back into the team yesterday, coming off the bench. He doesn't look like he's just had an injury that's been out for 2 months, does he? He looks like he's just been playing for the last couple of months. He was fantastic as well. Like, I'm not talking about the way he beats his man, because, like I said, we played against Huddersfield, right? So you can't really give him too much credit. I'm talking about the way he's moving on the pitch. Like, normally when you come back from like a muscle injury, you're a bit slow, your explosiveness isn't there. Him and Kevin De Bruyne yesterday, neither of them played in that match looking like they've just been out for months. Neither of them. So that's seriously good stuff. John Stones, we're led to believe, is going to be back around next week. I don't think he'll start against Newcastle, but he's back basically. And Haaland, I mean, I was surprised Haaland wasn't on the bench yesterday, to be honest with you. Everything that we've been told, it seemed like he was going to be there. But again, he's going to be back, you'd imagine, at least on the bench for the Newcastle game. So it's a bit of a shame about Akanji getting a knock yesterday. Bit of a shame about Gvardiol. Not sure how serious those injuries are, but I think right now we are basically in the best position we've been in this season, squad wise, and sort of optimism wise. Because I looked at that game yesterday, Arsenal versus Liverpool, and I just don't think, I know they had players injured and that, but I don't think either of them team come close to City if we can keep our starting 11 fit, bro.
Yeah, and that's the question, isn't it? Can City keep their players fit? I think that if the answer to that question is yes, then really it shouldn't be a question of who wins the title, because no disrespect to Arsenal or Liverpool squad, very good squads, but if everyone has their fully fit squads, I think most people would agree that City's is the strongest and by a decent margin. So yeah, it will be, the question mark when Stones comes back, right? Is he going to get injured again, or can he now have a proper run in like last season? De Bruyne is back. Once he gets back to, a full match sharpness, is he going to be available for every single big game? That's going to be the only questions, and that's something that Guardiola can't really control. If he's given the tools and they're all fully fit, then yeah, we should win this title. Not easily, but certainly I'd expect to win it, by around at least 3 points, for example.
Yeah, no, absolutely facts. Right, I want to come on to one of my favorite topics right now, guys, and that is Phil Foden. He is absolutely on fire right now, absolutely cooking. Premier League, he got an assist against Palace, he got a goal against Everton, he got 2 assists against Sheffield United. Yesterday, 2 goals. The guy's on fire, so that's what, 4 goals, 3 assists in his last 4 games. The guy's smoking it out in that midfield. Pep Guardiola has finally given the keys to Phil Foden to play in that midfield, and he's repaying the faith. Couple of mistakes here and there. We know about Palace. We don't need to go over that, but it looks like this guy's improving game on game, and he's probably been our best player this season, bro. He's just absolutely cooking in that midfield.
Yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been well documented on this show that you give Foden the ball, City normally tend to win. He's again the touch theory works. He got 77 against Huddersfield, and again, it's every single game this season. If Foden gets at least 70 touches, he contributes at least 1 goal or assist.
Have you tweeted this yesterday? Because I'll bring it up if you did.
No, I haven't updated it. I've updated my spreadsheet, but I haven't tweeted it. So okay. Maybe next game. But yeah, the truth still holds that if you give Foden the ball, it's a simple concept. Give your best players the ball in the best areas. They will be able to influence and impact the game. It's very, very simple football, but that's all City needed to do. And that's what City have done. And yeah, and Foden's just. It's some players might crumble under that pressure. The best player De Bruyne being out for half a season, like Foden being asked to take that mantle, but he's just flourished. This has definitely been his best season for me. I think it's fair to say this has been his best season, and that this season he has been City's best player in my opinion. And yeah, his outside the box finishes are fantastic. He's a great ball striker, such a clever footballer, as we know, and. Yeah, it's just great to see that, so especially from rival fans and also City fans, because there's a big expectation on Foden. The question was always, right, now you're 23, you're not really a kid anymore. You're 23, you're a man. You've got to step up now. You've got to prove that if you're given the keys, you can take that responsibility. And that would be a massive test for Guardiola. It's a sink or swim moment. And like Foden is, he's butterflying, blindfolded. He's swimming all over the place. He's not sinking. So yeah.
Yeah, and as well, people who always say, opposition fans, but he never plays. He started every single Premier League game this season.
That's just nonsense. He's played outside of, in terms of outfield players, I think it's only Walker who's played more minutes in all comps this season.
I can fact check that information because I've got transfer marks up now. If we go on,
God,
if we go on
Nobbins
stats,
a fraud?
Is Nobbins a fraudulent?
I'm sure it's the top pundit? 4.
There you go, second most played player.
Oh, get in. I wasn't just bullshitting.
Yeah, it's our second most played player this season. So, yeah, you're absolutely right on that. And you said this season you think is his best season. If we compare the stats, this is Prem only, guys. This isn't all comps. I don't know if there's a way to do all comps on like this. But, yeah, if you look at this, I mean, his best goal return is 11, which was last season, and he got 5 assists. You know what's weird about that is I actually thought last season was one of his poorer seasons. Yeah, he got 11 goals, 5 assists. It's his best season. Season.
It was because the first half season to last season was probably his best up until that point. But then he got appendicitis, and then he got injured at the World Cup, and then he aggravated that injury at Old Trafford. So he entered second, and then he couldn't get in a treble-winning team because obviously you don't want to change your system when it's working. So his first half to last season was fantastic, but the second half was injury-ridden. It wasn't really his fault.
That's fair. I mean, he's already got the most assists he's ever had in the Premier League. With 6, and we're only halfway through the season. 5 goals. I mean, to be honest with you now, I'm looking at that and thinking, okay, if we set like a second half target and we're not fully sure, how Pep Guardiola's going to play Kevin De Bruyne and Foden. This is something that is unknown. Obviously, Nobbin said he's going to do a video on it, so check that out when it comes out. But obviously, we don't know. But let's just say he continues to play him in the midfield, right? Because that's where he's playing him right now. That's where he's flourishing. It would be sad to see him moved. I'd probably be setting him a target of second half of the season. He's played 19. He's got 5 goals. I think he could get another 7. I think he'd get another 7 goals in the second half of the season, which I don't think is a particularly mega difficult sort of goal to set him. That would put him on 12 goals for the season, double the assists. That'll be 12 as well. That's 24 G&A in the Premier League. That is a very, very, very good season for his first season in midfield. 24 goals and assists in his first season. If we go and win the league as well, he have a big part to play there. So for me, I'm super excited about it. I think he's absolutely cooking right now. I think the only thing that he needs to start doing a bit more, which he did yesterday, is sometimes the ball doesn't come to you in the areas. Yeah, and David Silva dealt with this, and Kevin De Bruyne dealt with this, and all the best players, Iniesta's, all the best players do. Mm-hmm. In games where it's tough, in games where the opposition sits on the edge of the penalty area, sometimes you got to go find the ball. And I thought the first 20 minutes yesterday, he wasn't really doing that. And I actually said it in the watch-along. I said he needs to try and get himself on the ball. And at around the 20-minute mark, he started going looking for the ball, dropping a little bit deeper, getting him on the ball. And then, boom, we was in gear. We started cooking. He was dictating the play, getting all the sort of creative passes on, and obviously getting the goals as well. So, Yeah, he is slamming it right now, bro. And I genuinely think that he could potentially be in with a shout of getting Player of the Year for Manchester City, maybe for the Premier League, but certainly for Manchester City.
Yeah, definitely. And just like you're absolutely right in terms like, Foden does play better when he's on the ball, and in those games where he can't get the ball, I do like it when he drops deeper to receive it. It's something which we've seen like, David Silva do, Bernardo Silva does it very well. I think like I talked about it in my match analysis video. The best example of that was against Everton, where most of Foden's touches in the first half were obviously, like in Everton's defensive third, but actually in the second half, he had loads of touches in our defensive third, i.e. he was dropping deep, picking up the ball and linking play. So he's fantastic at doing that. And so, yeah, if Pep lets him do that, then he's more than capable of doing it. I'm just looking at his, goals and assists in all comps so far. He's got 10, this is according to FB Ref, he's got 10 goals and 9 assists in all comps. So that's 19 overall. So I think he should be setting again, football's more than just numbers. He should be setting a target of 20 goals, 20 assists in all comps. Like, definitely.
Well, that's funny because that's what I used to set for Riyad Mahrez. They're the numbers that I used to set for Riyad Mahrez. So yeah, no, absolutely.
He's on course for it.
Yeah, you got 10. I got 11 according to Transfer Marks. I don't know why that's. Maybe it's the Club World Cup goal. Maybe FB Ref ain't including the Club World Cup goal. But yeah, no, if he can get, I think that's a legit target. And 20 goals, 20 assists, guys. Wow. I mean, that is seriously really, really good when you're playing Premier League, Champions League. I mean, even look at his Champions League numbers are very good. 3 goals, 2 assists in the Champions League. Got a goal in the Club World Cup as well. This guy's performing at the top level, guys. He's performing at the top level, and we need him to keep performing at the top level. And this is the scary bit that some of you are not going to like. I don't think you've scratched the surface with this guy. Genuinely, I don't even think you've scratched the surface with Phil Foden in the midfield. You're looking at him going, oh my God, if he continues this, it's amazing. I think there's levels to come with him, and that's the scary part. I think that this guy could be a future Ballon d'Or winner. I think he's certainly going to be a future Ballon d'Or nominee if he keeps playing in this position and performing well. And like I say, I think there are levels to his game that you've not even seen. You got to remember, this is the first season he's properly been given the keys in the midfield.
Exactly.
The first season. Yeah. And we've had no Haaland in most of these games because he's been injured. No Doku. Kev's not been there. Yeah. John Stones has been out of the team. I genuinely believe that this guy is at the entry point, yeah, to what could be an incredible career. I mean, he's already had an incredible career. He's won more than most players will ever win. But I can't hype this guy up enough. Big up to Chicken Wings says, don't be surprised if Pep benches him next game. That would be the Mahrez treatment. Slams it, benched. Big up for the donation.
I can see it maybe. I totally agree. There's a similar trajectory maybe for Kevin De Bruyne. When in De Bruyne's first season with City, he wasn't an out-and-out 10. He played on the right a lot under Pellegrini. So he played right wing a lot, obviously 10 a lot. Again, bit what Foden has been doing prior to this season. He had that first season in 16-17 under Pep, which was good. That's his first full season out and out midfield. That's what Foden's doing right now. And then what happened the season after? De Bruyne absolutely popped off and City were Centurions. Now, I'm not saying that City are going to be Centurions again, but it's a similar path in that even like De Bruyne, he needed a full season in midfield before then taking his game to the next level, from 2017 onwards. So there's no reason why it can't be a similar thing with Phil.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Guys, make sure you are smashing the like button. If you're enjoying the stream, please hit that thumbs up button, man. Over 400 people in the building. Let's get those likes to 200. Need 30 people out of 400 to hit that thumbs up button to get us to 200 likes. Bro, there was quite a lot of academy players on the football pitch yesterday as well, which is obviously great to see. I've seen some Arsenal fans moaning that despite the loss, Arteta never really plays academy players. We've seen the likes of Oscar Bob get a start. Rico Lewis again is in there, which is good to see off the bench. You've seen Jacob Wright and Mika Hamilton getting some more minutes. This is seriously good, isn't it? This is great for the football club. It's great for potentially finding gems that you don't have to pay for. It's great for business side because, of course, when you sell I'm not a massive fan of this whole finance shit, but when you sell academy players, that goes straight to basically the bottom line, the profit or whatever. So it really, really helps in the profit and sustainability rules that a lot of clubs are now struggling to adhere to, if you believe the rumours and stuff. And some good performances. Oscar Bob, I do want to focus on him because he looks like the furthest one ahead. I say that with respect to Rico Lewis because I already think he's there. That's not disrespect on him, by the way. I just think he's no longer this academy graduate. He's just there. Oscar Bob, I seen Omer tweet about him, I think yesterday or this morning. He thinks he's already ready to start Premier League games, I suppose, right wing. What are your thoughts on Oscar Bob? Are you that confident level? You can throw him into Premier League? You think he needs a little bit fine tuning? What's your thoughts on Oscar Bob, bro?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely this is a Premier League quality player, clearly. Whether it doesn't matter what position you put him either, right, left, midfield, even false nine, he can basically. I know he's not played that much this season, but he's never had a bad game. He's never looked out to his depth. He's just looked like you don't look at him and go, oh yeah, that's like an academy player playing their first proper minutes a season. You look at it and go, oh yeah, that's a Man City player. That's how good he is. The question will be, I think, as it is with every City youth player, academy player, is will he be good enough ultimately to break into the team? Because I think that whilst Bob's getting the majority of his minutes out wide, his game style does seem to be more like midfield oriented. He does seem to be more of a midfielder than an out and out winger. The issue is that, I mean, we know how good Foden is. He's only just managed to get into the midfield this season after however many years of waiting. So the question, I guess, will be, can Bob, will he be given the minutes in the midfield to maybe elevate that, that level of his game, or will he just, ultimately become an out and out right winger? That's the question. But he strikes to me as like a Bernardo Silva type player in that, for me, he's a midfielder who can also play out wide, but he can also play everywhere. It seems across that forward line. And yeah, he's never looked out of his depth, has he? Fantastic dribbling as well.
It's not. And I agree, by the way. I think the reason I think he's more suited to a midfielder than a right winger is because I think he's got football intelligence, high level football intelligence, football IQ, whatever, right? He's just so smart. Yeah. And I thought personally he's had his best season for the academy when he played in the middle last year and he had Borges on one side, Mabude on the other. It was absolutely fantastic. However, that doesn't mean to say he's not a good right winger. He is. He's just, as Nobbin said, he could be versatile. And to be honest, right, what was the game you come on the other day and went left wing? And I said in my watch along, I went, nah, Pep's going to kill him with this Cole Palmer left wing situation. And he actually done all right. And he actually done all right on the left.
It was great. Sheffield, I think that was.
Was it Sheffield United? I was like, Jesus, fair play, man. This is the thing. When you have players like this, who are so technically and smart, football smart, they can kind of play anywhere. And I really like it. I thought yesterday it was so calm and composed. Here's the thing. People always ask me about LB, what do you think about Bob versus Palmer and shit, right? I don't really like to do the comparisons. My opinion on this, is like this. Cole Palmer will probably get more goals and maybe assists as well, right? Because he's more direct. But Pep will like Oscar Bob more because he never loses the ball. Remember last season and the seasons before, Cole Palmer, people always used to say Cole Palmer greedy. Cole Palmer's not a greedy player. Cole Palmer was trying to impress. He was always trying to impress when he got on the pitch. That's why he lost the ball quite a lot. Oscar Bob just seems like he has full trust in Pep Guardiola, like Foden. And Oscar Bob probably wants to get on the board, start taking players on and smacking it into the top bins. But I think he trusts Pep Guardiola. And Pep's just got saying, right, go out there and I need you to do this. I need you to hold the ball. I need you to do what Mahrez does sometimes. It's not always pretty. Hold the ball, bring other players in, blah, 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 blah. Yeah? And he does it. And he does it really, really well. I mean, I just brought up the passing accuracy. Look at that, guys. This is a young player that's first season properly breaking into the team. And in the whole game yesterday, he misplaced 2 passes. 2 passes for an academy player. Yeah, this is what Pep wants to see. I always say this, it's difficult sometimes. Pep don't want you to go on there as a young player, like dribbling around and messy, because it's unlikely you're going to get that. He wants you to do what he wants you to do, man. That's why he gives the instructions. And too many young players go on the pitch and don't do what he says, and see you later. Because Pep Guardiola is system first. You've got to do the system. And Oscar Bob at the moment's flying, he's cooking. Now, I don't know whether or not he's ready for Premier League games starting week in, week out. I don't know. But I certainly don't think he's far off.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, the lower league, I've seen a couple of people in the chat say he might be ready for some of the lower league opposition. Yeah, possibly right. You got to remember, guys, Pep Guardiola threw Oscar Bob on at Aston Villa when we was getting absolutely smacked up. He didn't do that, to punish another player or whatever. He done it because he thought that Oscar Bob could cope. And to be fair, he didn't do too bad, even though he got roasted.
Yeah.
So he's got the potential to go to the very, very top. I'm loving his development. I think it's super exciting. Another player that's come through the academy and he's worth now. I mean, Cole Palmer was worth 40 million. I think this guy's why is he not worth 40 million as well? Cole Palmer's worth 40 million. He's worth 40 million for me.
Yeah, maybe even more. As I said, I don't want this to become a Palmer versus Bob thing, but if we have to make the comparison relative to relative to Palmer's performance when Palmer was Bob's age, I think Bob's putting in which I think would have been last season. I think Bob's putting in better performances than Palmer relative to their age. I know Palmer's obviously a year older now, but again, comparing them to their ages relatively, because Bob is younger than Palmer, I think Bob for me has looked more like a Man City player, and he's looked more impressive, and he's looked like he's been able to cope with the pressure a bit more, I think, maybe. And who knows? Lots of people saying, we need a winger. I still think we probably do, but maybe, Bob's asking that question of Guardiola and the recruitment team. When Bernardo Silva perhaps inevitably leaves this summer, maybe Oscar Bob is going to be trusted to step up and be that more because Bernardo's a very versatile player. Bob's very versatile. Maybe Bob is the heir apparent to Bernardo Silva, potentially. It makes sense. They play in a similar way. A midfielder who can also play out wide, a midfielder who can play everywhere on the pitch, it seems. That might be a genuine question that's asked in the summer.
Well, I mean, if Pep Guardiola trusts Oscar Bob to replace Bernardo Silva, then that is a huge vote of confidence in Oscar Bob, man. That would be absolutely wild. But yeah, listen, it's a good day, Man City are back. It certainly looks like we're back. We've got a tricky game coming up against Newcastle United next Saturday. Looking forward to that one. It would be great to get a win there. Nobbins is going to go live now with Footy Judge Mo to speak about the Arsenal game, Liverpool game yesterday, and obviously more on Kevin De Bruyne. So just a quick show for you today, guys. But the League Gunner reaction video, that was live on More LB. So go and check out that if you've not already done so. And a lot of you've been asking me on DM, say LB, where's it's on the second channel, More LB. So go check that one out. I'm live tonight for the FA Cup draw, and then going to do a laugh along as well. Nobbins, you're obviously live with Mo, but you got anything coming up on the channel we should be aware of, Bray?
Yeah, so if you don't know, I tend to do detailed analysis videos of football matches with a focus on Man City games. I'm not going to do one specifically on the Huddersfield game, but what I am going to do is a video exploring the likelihood of Foden and De Bruyne playing in midfield together. What would the in-possession formation be? What would the out-of-possession formation be? How can it work? Will Pep do it? And is it optimal? Basically, the questions I seek to address. So if you want to have more of an understanding of what are maybe the issues with Foden and De Bruyne in midfield, also obviously the positives, then that will hopefully be out on my channel tomorrow.
Right, well, when that's out, bro, we all got to watch that, guys, because that's the big question at the moment. Can Foden and Kevin De Bruyne play in the midfield together? Let me know your comments down below. Nobbins is going live right now with Judge Mo, so I'll put a redirect on. Go and see what he's got to say over there. And yeah, bit of a shorter one today, but hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, smash a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you tonight for the laugh along Wigan versus United. See you in a bit.